This is terrible. 10 people were killed in a terrorist attack on Bourbon Street in New Orleans last night, and over 35 are currently in the hospital. It's a really painful moment, and it's not something I wanted to see when I woke up this morning because people were out enjoying themselves, living their lives, looking forward to the next year, and it shouldn't end like this for anybody. It's heartbreaking. It's terrible. And as we keep the victims and their loved ones in our thoughts, and if you're religious, pray for the people that are currently in the hospital, it's also important to address how tragedies like this are immediately exploited in ways that divide us further as a nation. Now, we just learned that the terrorist was a 42-year-old who grew up in Texas, lived in Texas his entire life, served in the military, and we don't know the full story, but it seems like he was radicalized recently because he was found with an ISIS flag on the back of his truck. By definition, he was doing this with a religious goal. That is a terrorist attack. But that's not the entire story, because right after this happened, right after we got the headline, 10 killed on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, Trump sent out this post. When I said that the criminals coming in are far worse than the criminals we have in our country, that statement was constantly refuted by Democrats and the fake news media. But it turned out to be true. The crime rate in our country is at a level that nobody has ever seen before. Our hearts are with all of the innocent victims and their loved ones, including the brave officers at the New Orleans Police Department. The Trump admin will fully support the city of New Orleans as they investigate and recover from this act of pure evil. It is an act of pure evil. It's very clear what he's implying here, right? It's not even an implication. He's literally just using this tragedy to push his narrative immediately. This happened at about 3 a.m. my time. Trump sent this tweet at about 9 a.m. my time. There is no reality in which you should immediately exploit a tragedy to push your own political narrative about immigrants and try to sow fear among Americans. Why not just wait for the facts to come out? Why not just wait until you're briefed? But Trump can't. He doesn't have the impulse control to do that. This tweet isn't just misleading. It's incredibly divisive. It feeds into the cycle where he wants to divide Americans, make sure that we don't trust each other, make sure that people are suspicious of anybody who might look like an immigrant. And of course, Fox News followed a very similar playbook. They initially said that the suspect's truck had just passed through Eagle Pass 2 days ago, which is a well-known crossing for migrants. They said just 2 days ago, this came over. It's very clear what happened here. And then we learned that Fox News had to retract their initial statement, says the truck was seen in Eagle Pass over a month ago, almost 2 months ago, November 16th. And then it seems as if the driver rented this Texas truck. So Fox News also reported it wrong. And I'm being very careful with what I say here because I'm not going to try to guess what happened here or there. I don't want to be Fox News and try to draw implications. I am reporting exactly what we know. We know that this was a 42-year-old who served in the military in Texas. We know that Trump immediately tried to exploit this, and we know that Fox News had to retract a statement. Nowhere in this video will I ever try to draw some conclusion that we don't know yet. We know for a fact the man who rammed his car into people in New Orleans last night is Shamsuddin Jabbar, and we can even see a video of him.
Good evening. I'm Shamsuddin Jabbar, property manager with Blue Meadow Properties and team lead at the Meidas Group at Core Realty. I just want to say hello and let you know a little bit about me. So I'm born and raised in Beaumont, Texas, and now live in...
This dude is not an immigrant at all. He grew up in America. He grew up in Texas his entire life, but that doesn't fit into the right wing's narrative. Now, on the comments of this dude's YouTube video, someone said, President Trump said this man is an illegal immigrant. He doesn't sound like a migrant. What does a migrant sound like? Do they look and sound like us Americans? I don't know what this person's trying to say. Another comment says, Trump said he crossed the border 2 days ago, so I doubt it's him. Oh, honey, you have a lot to learn. Trump will lie to your face to push a narrative no matter how divisive it is. I also saw people saying something to the effect of crickets from Joe Biden. The aides running the executive branch are probably sleeping off their New Year's celebration. Fortunately, President Trump is all over it and informing the American people of what's going on. Oh God, that is so backwards. Biden immediately called New Orleans. He didn't put out some performative post about immigrants. President Joe Biden said there is no justification, and he called and made sure. He said, I've been continually briefed since early this morning by federal law enforcement leadership and my Homeland Security team, including Mayorkas, including Monaco. He said he called the people in New Orleans, the mayor, and had a chat with them. He immediately condemned it. And this person says crickets from Joe Biden, but at least Trump is informing the American people after Trump immediately immediately tried to draw fear about immigrants to push his own narrative. It's absolutely despicable. And I don't want to lose sight of why I'm making this video. It's really not supposed to be about politics. I don't want to be talking about Trump versus Biden when people are in the hospital fighting for their lives, but I'm just trying to show you guys how this disinformation system works. It's not even disinformation. They are lying. They lied about this, and it causes harm to us Americans. I mean, people are fighting for their lives in the hospital right now, and Trump immediately lies about who did it and about why they did it before we had the information. And it turns out that this person seems to have been radicalized by ISIS at some point. They did have an ISIS flag on their truck, that it's a terrorist attack, a full stop, it's a terrorist attack. We also learned that this dude's Twitter account, the terrorist Twitter account, was following a bunch of veterans crisis management accounts. Some of them said, here are 50 veteran resources for legal, social, health, employment, all of this stuff. So this dude seems to have had some sort of mental break, and they immediately wanted to make it seem like it was an immigrant, which is absolutely disgusting, and I need to talk to you guys about this. I just searched his name on Twitter. I just searched the terrorist name on Twitter, and you can no longer search it. After we found out that he was born in Texas, you can no longer search it. So what I did is I texted my manager and I said, hey, can you search this too? I don't know, is it just on my end? And this is what I got from him. He said, you can't search it right now. You can't search this dude's name. And when they thought it was an illegal immigrant, I searched his name and people were saying immediately, deport all Muslims, get them all out of here, make sure that all of the immigrants are gone. But now I can't even search his name. And this probably happens a lot when there are certain shootings or whatever. You can't search stuff, but it's just interesting timing here, especially when Trump has free reign to spread this disinformation. And just going back to the irony of this comment right here, this person said, Trump said he crossed the border 2 days ago, so I doubt it's him. Well, maybe Trump lied. And this is the dude's account right here. So let's go look at some of the comments before YouTube takes it down. What are people saying in the comment section? I mean, someone commented 4 minutes ago, we definitely need more H-1Bs of these guys. If Trump says so, I trust him. And thankfully someone points out he was American. This dude was American. And then someone says, oh look, not an immigrant. Let's see what the replies say. Immigrant background, first generation at best. What is this argument? Okay, sorry, I really don't want to lose sight of the fact that people are fighting for their lives. This whole video should be in service or in remembrance of the people who lost their lives last night. People were partying, looking forward to the next year, looking forward to 2025. All of these individuals, I bet, had their own goals that were just quashed by a terrorist, a straight up terrorist. But again, the fact that Republicans had free reign to lie about this, and then in my feed for hours, I was reading about how it's an immigrant, it's a Muslim immigrant, he came over the border 2 days ago, and then right when we learn the real identity of the guy, I'm no longer able to look any of it up. I can't refresh it or anything. And again, I texted a few of my friends. Nobody else is able to look this up. It's insane. And never on my channel do I want to spread conspiracy theories or be like, I'm just asking questions. So to be fair, the last time there was a mass shooting, the same thing happened. Twitter oftentimes will just shadow ban it and you can't look it up. But it's not cool that the fact that, number one, this happened, it's tragic, but also that people were immediately blaming it on immigrants and trying to divide each other. And then once we get the correction, I can't even look it up. So that's why I'm making this video. It's really depressing. I just wanted to update you guys. I wanted to make sure that we're all staying informed and calling out misinformation when we see it. And I know that we're all in a moment of collective grief. I just don't want that to be hijacked by political gain, by Donald Trump and Fox News and MAGA Republicans. So my message would be, let's stand up together as Americans. This was a terrorist attack. This dude had an ISIS flag on the back of his truck. We can have longer conversations about mental health with veterans, but let's just hold space for the victims and their loved ones today. Let's demand better from those who are supposed to lead us and inform us. He's not a leader. Trump is not a leader. Thank you guys for watching. I do love every single one of you. Let's have a good year. Yeah.